So this comedian thought the only reason why people aren't laughing at her jokes is because she is a woman. So she wore a costume and pretended to be a man. Let's see how her performance went.
Wow, the self-awareness.
You don't know what they're doing in these labs.
Oh, she's not funny at
Very
all.
loose guidelines. This lady wants me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I just didn't be a comic.
No, listen.
Because
I'm telling
I can't do it as a man, I can't do it as a woman.
you were great.
What up, guys? Welcome to
Same
the
time
Just
here,
Curly Things
okay.
YouTube channel and welcome to my reaction series. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and get yourself a Women Shouldn't Vote t-shirt. Today, I am going to be reacting to These Women Become Men to Prove Male Privilege, and they instantly regretted it. All right, let's see what's going on.
Man or woman, who has a harder life?
Woman.
Women have a harder life?
Yeah. Woman. Yep. Woman.
Why?
Because we have to deal with inequality for
I want the, like,
Wow.
river thing, like, doo-doo, like the
violin.
world's smallest violin. You know,
a long time and currently do so as well.
What do men have that women don't?
I never believed how strong the propaganda machine is until now. It's so strong, folks. It's gonna be an uphill battle.
Basic human rights.
Which red do?
For instance,
Payments.
and you guys have free, I'm not gonna say what it is, but we don't have like the same access, for instance, to birth control. Like our
Men have
men don't even have birth control.
birth control?
No, Viagra. For instance, your medical plan covers that, and my medical plan doesn't cover birth control.
A woman who disguised herself as a man to find out how it is to live as a man committed due to the psychological scars of how difficult life was as a man. Nora Vincent, the author of Self-Made Man, has died by assistance. She was a radical feminist who believed men lived on easy mode and tried to prove it by disguising herself as a man for 2 years. Instead, what she found out is that men actually have it very hard and wrote a book about her experience. In fact, the experience was so bad that she had to stop after 18 months because she was starting to hate women due to how bad the women treated her when she believed she was a man.
Men are suffering. They have different problems than women have, but they don't have it better. They need our sympathy, they need our love. And they need each other more than anything else. They need to be together.
Bro, with a broken wrist. He's opening the beer with a broken wrist.
Women understand what it's like to be a man?
Not at all. No clue. No idea.
Did you like being a woman before, Ned?
I did, but I like it more now because I think it's more of a privilege.
Being a man is much
Yeah,
Damn,
it's really
that's
true.
powerful.
It's so funny because the women will say that I hate women because I point out the realities of how privileged of lives we have. They hate me for it. I mean,
They
I think
will.
I get more hate than really, I get hate from the left and the right. And you know what's interesting? I was talking to this old red pillar. I don't want to say his name, but it was like a guy that was like, he's kind of like OG red pill. Like he was really big in the early 2000s. We were trying to get him to come on the show. And he ended up having to kind of go out of the limelight because it affected his business. And he told me that it was actually other men that ruined like what he was doing. It was other men that would cancel his events or would like be a problem for him.
Beta. The conservative movement is beta, bro. Currently, the females in the conservative movement is just feminist 20 years ago kind of thing. It's ridiculous.
That are controlled by women, I just call women. They basically have the spirit of women
Of a
in them. Because, and it's interesting because sometimes you're like I'll tell a story about a man getting divorced and the men will say that it's his fault. What are the guys supposed to do if the woman wants to leave? You can't do anything.
than a woman would ever expect. We face rejection, indifference, and unwarranted hostility far more than any woman could even imagine. I can believe that the interview in her book was more impactful with men than with women. Men responded favorably to her showing cause and effect about gender beliefs and behaviors and were receptive to her conclusions on the emotional level because of a common ground of evidentiary findings and logic-based thinking. Women, being more emotion-led, were more likely to discard evidence and logic and stick to their feelings, no matter whether the feelings proved justified or unjustified based on the evidence that
women are more emotional
were lived through and logically presented to them. The lessons she learned broke her as both a woman and a person, and is a testament to how much of women's empowerment is actually leading to women's self-destruction.
Well, and it is because we say that we're the same as men. We do not interpret information the same way men do.
I mean, we're very logical when it comes down to even problem solving. We want to see results. Females, on the other hand, they just want the problem never goes away. Interesting how you see the problems, today's problems, the problems that we have in society today is problems that don't want to be resolved. Gender problems, transformers, all these problems non-existent, the confusion in everything, like they wanted even to just legalize prostitution and drugs. Is all these problems that they don't want to even fix, which are problems, and they want to even legalize them. I don't want to go through that route, but
and really, women get on me, but I'm just honest. And maybe some of my opinions sound out there to you, but I don't think women have the same mental capabilities that men do. Obviously, there are exceptions. The same way there are exceptional children that are prodigies and are smarter than a lot of adults. When it comes to women in general, we're not smarter than men. We're not more logical than men. And I think our buying decisions prove that. I mean, how many illogical things do we vote into existence? Like, for example, our student debt. How many of us signed up for useless degrees that we didn't need? Another example is abortions. How many? 1 out of 3 women.
Not only that, it's just that there's a stat that said that the majority of females, at least 60% of females, 60% of the college enrollments are females. But then if you equate the level of degrees, it's mostly useless degrees. Gender study, women's studies, all these psychology is worthless.
Women have had an abortion. 1 out of 3.
What's wrong? What is it?
How I love being a woman.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are than I've had in my 8 years of transitioning. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build.
She's basically dipping a toe in the pool and crying because it's too cold, while natural born men are either just outright drowning or just trying to keep their head above water just a little longer. It's actually not hard for men to make friends. It's a lot harder to get respect as men.
As men, yeah.
And if you are an emotional transition man, you definitely won't make a lot of friends.
And we learn to deal with it. That's the most important thing. As a man, you have to learn to deal with it. Some men don't know how to deal with it, but as a man, you have to learn how to deal with it.
As our brains are wired differently and the experiences that we have as men are way different. Someone transitioning didn't grow up with the same diversity and struggles as men. Also, now that you've cried publicly about your problems as a man, you are now seen as a weak man and
super weak. And I can tell this is a woman from far away. Like a man, you cannot do that. You cannot express yourself like that in the camera because you have to learn how to deal with them. That's why I cannot even empathize. I see the video, I cannot empathize with her.
Attraction from women, lost respect from other men, and
that's the hard thing about being a guy, is men are just confused because they're told one thing by society and how to treat women and what women want. They're told that women want emotionally available men, but it's just not true. Women want somebody strong that they can look up to. They don't want guys that are crying on TikTok.
Successfully amplified your isolation.
Barney Mac, nice to meet you.
What is it?
I have a Comedy Central, a half-hour special, and I'm also the voice of Lenny on the Cartoon Network, Joy Cab.
All right, well, let me write all this down.
Okay. Thanks, bro.
Keep it there.
Can I get some change for that?
Do what you do. Quit picking pussy hairs out of your tongue.
So this comedian thought the only reason why people aren't laughing at her jokes is because she is a woman. So she wore a costume and pretended to be a man. Let's see how her performance went.
She looks goofy.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have...
I love animals. I would never buy any product that have been tested on animals. Never.
And she's trying she's trying so much to just get that voice deep, man. You can try. You can tell.
At myself at home. Make sure the control group is isolated. You don't know what they're doing in these labs. Very loose guidelines. This lady wants me. I can totally tell.
Oh, man. Cringy.
I'm a weird dude.
Oh, bro.
Cringy.
Wow, the self-awareness.
Brother, this guy stinks!
I used to always carry a man purse, a merce. You ever carry one of those?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
A merce. I loved it. I loved that merce. But I was losing it. I'd lose it everywhere.
Get
I was
her
always
out
leaving my
of the
merce
stage,
around.
man.
You know, I kept
She
losing
needs
my
tomatoes
merce.
on her
So I just started carrying everything on my person, my pants. I only lost my pants a couple of times.
Oh.
So that's really working.
You know
out.
what's crazy? You
All
can
right.
tell she doesn't even practice her jokes. They don't have a story. They don't have a punchline. She's not even practicing her jokes. She's doing this out of entitlement.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
Man. The weakest dude ever.
Morning back, ladies and gentlemen.
Telling you, it was good. Didn't you see me laughing?
I know, but I felt like you were laughing at me.
I wasn't laughing at you.
I think you got it right.
He was.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He really was.
Oh, we laughing
This
too.
is simping. Now, what is simping? I throw this term around a lot, so maybe I think I should give you guys a definition. Simping is when men put women's emotions above their logic. Men naturally are more logical than women. Men naturally know what is true. And when they bend the truth for women, I call that simping. So right there, he's bending the truth
definition.
for
I like
women's
that.
feelings.
At your jokes. And how you
Could be like a second definition of the
telling you, that was-
definition itself.
That was good. Don't be upset.
I just didn't be a comic.
No, listen.
Because
I'm
I
telling
can't
you.
do it as a man. I can't do it as a woman.
You were great. You were great. You're great as a woman. You're better as a
I think
woman.
somebody's gonna come out here and see like some dude fucking
No.
cry his eyes out.
No, I'm telling you. You were
With
great.
those little
Listen
hands
to me.
and that.
I'm serious. Like I was good.
I don't even care about this stupid documentary.
I'm telling you.
I just like,
She was so deluded into
And that's, women have no idea how much better the world treats us because we're a woman. Imagine if that was the
you're
guy
probably-
crying because
it's like you make a lot of money and you give money to your kids, right? Without knowing the value of a dollar, they become spoiled. That's what happened. That's what we done.
You would not get that level of sympathy.
thinking nobody laughed because she's a woman, came to find out she's just not funny after. The next step is to accept that reality and do the only thing she can do, and that is to improve her performance.
Herself, yeah.
One of the comments says, it's always hard when someone realizes they aren't a victim and that their failure is their own. Everyone has an excuse and someone to blame for their failure these days. The sad fact is most people live in that kind of denial. The fact that she somehow genuinely felt that her male disguise is realistic enough to convince the entire crowd is really the actual joke here. Her
Good
crying at
point.
the end just goes to show that it's not about anything to do with social justice.
And that's why I say the simping, it doesn't help us. It really doesn't. It's comforting, but when we don't know what reality is, we can't improve. And the problem is we're told we're princesses from the time we're 5 years old.
Quality. It's for their own personal validation.
They did an experiment with a group of women, and they put scars on their faces, and they told these women that they're going into a job interview, and the purpose of the experiment is to find out whether people with facial disfigurements face discrimination. They showed them the scars in the mirror. The women saw themselves with these scars, and as they led them out of the room, they said, we're just going to touch it up a little bit. And as they touched it up, they removed the scarring completely. So the women went into the job interview thinking that they are scarred, but actually being their normal self. And the result of the experiment is that those women then came back reporting massively increased level of discrimination. Indeed, many of
Thinking you're a victim is a disease. It's literally a disease.
That's what
Even
it is.
guys, I mean, you guys know what happened last year here. That was so crazy. It was.
I mean, I see a lot of these shows, right? Dealing with these modern women, right? It is very tiring. It is very tiring. I see a lot of sexers trying to deal with it, and I see some sexers that they want to move the conversation forward. And frankly, folks, I see some sexers that they're just not doing anything. They're just making money at the industry, and that's what it is. But we have to just get to a point where we have to bring order.
So crazy. Like victim mentality, it's it'll convince you that the world is against you, and a lot of times it's not. Usually people are willing to help you.
Back with comments that the interviewer had made that they felt were referencing their facial disfigurement.
I wonder if they did that with men, if it would be the same. I don't think so.
This is why I think this ideology of victimhood is so dangerous, because if you preach
The serpent whispered to Eve, not Adam.
to people constantly that we're all oppressed, then that primes people to look for that.
Yeah, and I think women really in general have no idea how hard men's lives are. Women, we have it way easier. We get free drinks at the bar. We get preferential job treatment. I've even heard that we get preferential treatment in schools. All of these things favor
because
women.
the majority of teachers are female. Man, it's crazy when you look back and I see a lot of this stuff. I couldn't even believe it, man. A lot of, like, I had to just go back and just really sit down and just reframe a lot of my thinking, because it might be conducted to just being in the system, in the matrix. So I just need to disconnect completely. And I still need to. There's a lot of areas of my life that I need to. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.